Welcome to QTV. My name is Kate Mackey.
I'm Matthew Bowe.
And I'm Michael James.
We have a great show lined up for you this evening with a very special guest coming in for our second segment. But firstly, guys, we're back on the couch after what was a fantastic week at Pride Fair Day last week with our show brought to everyone from the big day. How are you recovering?
I'm finally almost recovered just a little bit. But I've managed to get myself a new haircut and I'm very happy. I feel all trimmed and refreshed. And I started my new job now as well. You know, we've got day jobs outside
Excellent.
of here.
I know, that's right. We do actually have lives outside
Yes.
from the QTV couch.
Not just inside the little box
And how did you enjoy the day there at Fair Day?
It was fantastic. It was so much fun doing the live show and having the audience and talking to things and you know, getting everyone involved. And I think Farmer Dave offended someone in the audience by...
Yes.
Yeah, so it was just a win.
It was great. Actually, it was great chatting to lots of our fabulous viewers, such as yourselves.
Yeah.
And,
We got photos with the viewers.
Yeah.
We got to meet Kate. Kate watches every week.
Oh yes, Kate, our weekly viewer, she got a photo with us, and yeah, just lovely to be out there and chat to people. And I actually had great fun talking to all the people at the different stalls and learning about a few different things and happenings within our community.
Yeah, it was really good. There was such a diverse range of stalls as well. Like everything from the Raelian organisation through to the architects and the the lesbian magazine, the Pride magazine, and the Boot Co and the Brisbane things, which was an interesting experience and a half. And
I got on a police bike.
And the police bike?
Police bike.
Did you go on the police bike?
I got on a police bike. There were flashing lights, a hat, a jacket and everything. It was meant
You're
to
like
be.
a kidney candy store.
I'm just policing everything now, like police.
Police. Well, you almost would have made the news if you kept going. And of course, without further ado, it is time for this week's Hot 3 news articles.
Now, our number 3 topic of the week is Pope Francis. Now, he has been talking again, and everybody seems to get happy when he talks lately. This time, he is saying nice things about the gays again. He was doing another conference or something where he was speaking to people, and this time he said that the church has been spending too much time focusing on the gays and on abortions. Was basically summarising what he said there, which is very interesting. And I read a couple of articles about this. One of them was like, well, that's really nice. And another one was, well, yes, it's another case of Pope Francis saying nice things and not actually doing anything about it again. So he's there. It's another talking head, but no action.
I mean, on the flight, he made the quotes on a recent flight home, and he was saying that, if there are homosexuals that are of God's will and in search of God, who is he to judge? But at the same time, he then very quickly said that he sort of stands by the, their basic rulings and teachings with regard to all these kind of topics.
I don't understand why anybody cares what the Pope thinks. Unless you're a Catholic, why do you care? We need your approval, oh yes. And all it boils down to is, although they may not, you are bad us now, they still believe the only way to be a Catholic and to be a Christian and to be gay is if you practice a life of celibacy and head towards the light of being a good Christian. That's great if you want that, but I don't understand why the rest of us care at all.
Absolutely.
He's just another person.
It is so bizarre. Like the news worship what's going on in the Vatican. I'm like, it's just a really rich, tiny city of this little man in a dress.
To be fair, he is, he is very well respected, and he's doing a lot more and saying a lot more good things and trying to promote an attitude of positivity and peace and making the church a home and supportive towards people rather than isolating them and offending people like the last few have done. And it's very important. The Pope does bring a lot of good to a lot of people, but we can't hang ourselves over what he says. So, In the second story, we have Elton John, who is, as we would know, he's a performer, and he was booked to go in December to perform in Russia. Now, a lot of people have been, boycotting Russia and refusing to play there. He's saying that Russia needs him and that he is going to go because it's a tough situation. What do you do either way? If you don't go, you're isolating people. If you do go, you're probably going to get arrested. So he's going to go perform and continue to be his normal self, but tone it down a little bit.
I think that's great, and I suppose it is well and good to boycott Russia, but he makes a really good point. If he's not there, then he's leaving them isolated. If every gay, prominent person or supporter, an advocate of the community, abandons the country, these people are left there suffering on their own. And for him to have the balls to step up and go in and say, I'm going to come here and I'm going to perform. I'm going to tell you that it is okay, and you can see me and see that nothing's going to happen to me. Then that's got to give them some kind of hope. So really understand where he's coming from there. The rest of the article was interesting, though, the way he sort of went off into a tangent to about what he did on the rooftop.
As we do about gossip, and I'm not really interested in Elton John's sex life in the 70s, but anyway.
Oh dear. Well, with our top article for this week, there was actually a really positive story that came out of the States, although just in very recent news today there has been an unfortunate, slightly more sad tone to it. But there was, in California, 16-year-old Cassidy Lynn Campbell, a transgender girl there, was named as her homecoming queen, which was really fantastic news. She has said not just for herself but for the transgender community at large, that hopefully, you know, she can sort of put herself out there and present just as anyone else in the community that's equally valid of being homecoming queen. And her high school principal has actually said that he's really proud of his students, that it shows the level of equality, acceptance and respect amongst the students, which I thought this was a great article. And
she's
I was also,
won one for the team.
Exactly, and I was all set to share this positive story, which maybe we could just focus on that. But unfortunately, she has posted a YouTube clip just yesterday saying that she has had a lot of backlash that almost makes her want to sort of take a step back to that miserable
she's
place.
On the internet. I suppose that last part is the internet based, and what you're looking at is her peer support group, and that's how she got there, because you don't get homecoming queen because the teachers vote for you.
Yeah.
The kids have got to vote for you, and there's a whole nomination and voting process that comes from your peer support base, and that's what's important there. People on the internet are going to be horrible no matter what.
There are so many goddamn miserable people on the internet who just live to make people miserable, and I'm nasty. I saw someone say about her, would she have got it if she wasn't transgender? Just shut up. She did well, you know, for God's sake, just let us be supported. She's happy. She's doing something good. Shut up, you stupid miserable idiot sitting at home on your keyboard.
My rant of the week.
Absolutely, I love it.
It is, and I'm a homecoming queen. It is all about the support, and I think that's fantastic that her fellow peers just see her as an equal. Another great story there. Speaking of great stories, we have a fantastic guest coming up in our next segment for you, the amazing Ben Norris from Big Brother 2012.
Yay.
So until he joins us on the couch, you can jump on Facebook, Instagram and Twitter. We're all there at QTV Brisbane. And we will see you with our guest on the couch after the break. It's kind of weird not having a person. I kept going, that was beautiful.
Welcome back to QTV, and thank you for joining us. Tonight we're here with Ben Norris, winner of Big Brother 2012, general man about town and injured man from Pride. How are you feeling this week, and how are you recovering?
Do you know what? I was so looking forward to Pride, and I think you know that the level of enjoyment is good when you throw yourself off a stage. Actually, that's the story I'm telling people. It was actually, I tried to photobomb a very large drag queen and misjudged. I felt like Apollo 13. I was being sucked around the moon straight onto the ground.
So we had you here for Pride, and you rose to prominence last year when you won Big Brother, very famously proposing to your fiancé Ben. What has it been like since then for you in general at the moment?
Well, do you know what? I think Big Brother's an interesting thing because it's very fleeting, your popularity from this. I mean, it's very current, and you're in people's homes for 3 months and they become, you become a part of their household. But then it is what it is. Like, if you want to come out of this show and pretend you're a Kardashian, then go and pretend you're a Kardashian. Some people did. And for me, I was very lucky because I came home and my boyfriend was like, you won Big Brother, but you need to go and do the dishes. Just so you know. And we had a dishwasher, but he still made me hand wash those dishes, just so I knew, So, I mean, for me, look, I loved Big Brother and I loved the experience, and it was amazing. But does it change your life for the rest of your life? Well, probably not. Probably not.
And you've been doing other things since that have been
absolutely
affecting the quality of your life so much. What have they been?
Well, I'm somebody who probably has been a sort of, what do they say, a constipated enthusiast or something. Well, you didn't really want me to talk about constipation. And I was always wanting to work in telly and fascinated by it. And so then when Big Brother came to an end, it doesn't get offered to you ultimately. And so I've really seeked it and sought out what it is that I wanted to do. And at the end of the day, I really like people and I like interviewing people. So I'm on I'm following my dream of getting to this point of finding myself somewhere between Graham Norton and Andrew Denton, and getting to know people. I mean, I'd love it if we could just sit there and get to know everyday Australians, but you know, they don't have the popularity to do so. So we interview celebrities.
That's what's been interesting about you is I don't really watch Big Brother, and I watched the start of it, and I saw that they were initially bringing you in as the typical bitchy gay, as you know, I'm bitchy than anyone else. But the whole thing about this is that you've really developed, and I think that's really important for role models in our community, I suppose, is that you are easy to talk to, you are very warm, you don't get up on a political bandstand and you know soapbox at people. You do have a lot of character, and you have developed, and you, rather than just jumping down the stereotype, you really do have something to offer. So I think it's really good to have someone who's actually offering that in you know.
Do you know what? I think Channel 9 did an amazing thing of telling a story about a gay man last year, and you know what? Some gay men are bitchy, and I guess I was a bit outspoken. I was that person, and then
it
you
wasn't
look
like that though.
Well, you look at this year, and we now have this lovable character who's in there, and he's telling a different story. Gay people are incredibly interesting, and there's thousands of stories to tell.
Absolutely.
So each year, let's keep telling interesting stories. And so for me, you know, look, there's different levels of who I am, but do I represent every gay man? Certainly not.
We're all just people. No one should have to represent anyone, for God's sake.
But that's why they hated me. You know, some gay people were like, you know, you thought that you were representing us, and you know, if I thought I was representing the gay community, I probably would have been on my best behaviour. But I was a bit like a naughty school kid in there. But that's who I am.
I mean, everyone is different, and at the end of the day, we can say, yes, you're one of, or perhaps the first person to propose to a same-sex partner on television, but you're just a person at the end of the day too. So I guess there's that side. But speaking of that, I like to talk wedding. Well, I don't know. I mean, obviously, yes, you did propose to your partner on television, and but as yet, do you feel like you're now this poster child for same-sex marriage, or that's just another component of your relationship, I suppose?
Well, it's not like Neighbours where you get engaged on one episode and the next episode, you know, you're married. There's the big wedding. So for me, you know, we got engaged and then have spent a year being engaged. I mean, you know, a year's a good time to sort of prepare ourselves, and we're really looking forward to the ceremony, and we're looking forward to going ahead with it regardless as to whether or not it's been legalised.
And yeah, that's, I guess because my partner and I had a wedding we weren't going to, but no, there was the 2 dresses and the thing and the thing, the huge thing.
Who was best dressed at that wedding?
Oh look, equally. But you know, some of our friends were there. They're like, oh, it was so, like our straight friends are like, it was so nice. Like the 2 dresses, it was just so much pretty. But I mean, the thing is, and I've sort of said, well, why would I go overseas to get married just because it's legal there? Because back here it means nothing. And I suppose some might say, well, why did you still go ahead and have the big wedding in Australia when it still is nothing legally? But I think it's just about the celebration and being able to share with everyone that, you know, we can be just as in love as everyone else.
People aren't stuck on marriage anymore, are they? They're making relationships and symbols of union that mean something to them. It doesn't have to be traditional.
This is so not disrespectful, but for me, how I feel about it is I keep forgetting that it's not legalised. And I know I should probably be more about the whole thing, but, you know, I'm in love, and I feel lucky enough that I found someone to be like that. And we get to plan a wedding and do all these things that I'd told myself through the 90s that I wasn't going to get to do. And now it's this beautiful experience. And all I hope is that people maybe watch Ben and I in some way and just think, hey, if I want to get married, you know, I'm going to do it. And I don't think that there's anything wrong with that.
Proceed until apprehended.
What's that?
Proceed until apprehended.
It was so funny though. Can I quickly say that I didn't go into the show originally thinking I was going to propose. I thought I was going to go in and get this diamond that it was a family heirloom and say in front of Australia if I was evicted. I thought I would be evicted first. You know, who cares whether or not it's, you know, it's not legalised yet? You know, I want to use this diamond not necessarily as a marriage, but as a symbol of what's important to Ben and I, and that's all it was going to be. And then someone challenged me in the program. Sarah, one of the housemates, and she said, "Why do you not feel like you should push this?" And I went, I don't know. And then when I won, I thought, well, Australia's obviously liked me for some reason. I should show them that the most interesting thing about me is that I've been lucky enough to find someone to be in love with, and why not do that?
Did you know it before you went on stage that you were going to propose?
Yeah, I did. I did. And I tell you what, if anyone goes back, and it's on YouTube, but you go back and watch me in the backyard, And I say to myself, I go, you've got things to do. And I'd forgotten that I'd won the show. I mean, I was hyperventilating and I looked like Mr. Bean wandering around like terrified. But I knew I had things to do. It was one of the most important things in my life and I shared it with Australia.
And so after that, and we were talking a little bit about advocacy before, have people approached you, I suppose, with the expectation that you're now going to be an advocate for marriage equality? Have you had to, I suppose, knock back those offers or accept them or find a position where you are or are not representing us in some way?
You know what, there has been discussions and there's been moments where I've sat down with certain people to pursue it, but I'm not, I guess I'm just not the poster boy for it. Maybe I should be, I don't know, maybe I should have, used the audience that had followed me to follow this thing, but at the end of the day, I just really want to be an everyday Australian, and it's not in my nature to really want to grandstand something like this. Grandstand my love of crumpets, I'd probably do. I know, but it's like, I just prefer to live my life and hope that by doing that, that is enough.
And see, that's the thing that's been so good, and you're respectful about it. And that's the thing, people are on either side. We all must get married, or no one must get married is an outdated concept. Just let people make up their own mind and be respectful about it. I got in a big fight with Helen Mirren. Not Helen Mirren, God, that'd be scary.
She's the queen. You want to get in a fight with another queen?
Helen Brazer on Twitter, because I asked her to help with a civil unions petition, and so many celebrities had been fantastic. And she was so hateful, as always. But she just refused. I will have nothing to do with this. How dare you? And so anyway, but it's good for you to let people do
you know
what
what
they
I
want.
think it's interesting is it becomes popular, like online, people saying negative things and people not supporting things. People follow such trends. Like they jump on something if it's popular to do so. And all of a sudden it's popular to not like it, or it's popular to not like it, whatever it is. I just don't see why people can be like that. Why can't we just be happy with who we are?
Well, thank you very much. We will have you back after the break to talk about further things, and we'll be asking some quick 6 questions, which hopefully we won't put you under too much pressure. So thank you very much. Stay on the couch, and we will see you shortly.
Welcome back to QTV. And we are still here with Ben Norris, the 2012 Big Brother winner. And it's time for us to get straight into your quick 6.
Quick 6?
Yes, very simple. We're going to ask you 6 questions. You have to answer them immediately. No umming and ahhing or extended answers. Right? We're good to go?
Good.
Question
good to
1. Vote to save or vote to evict?
Vote to save.
Favourite Big Brother housemate ever?
Oh, Reggie.
Kate.
I think I can pick my answers. Your big day, bow tie or braces?
Oh, braces.
Okay. And Gretel or Sonia?
Sonia Kruger.
Oh, no.
Absolutely.
You had to pick Sonia. She was your host.
She was my host, but not only that, I mean, I was obsessed with Gretel Colleen, and I think there was big shoes to fill, but I just think Sonia Kruger is... There's something really quite amazing the way that she does this thing. Maybe it's watching it live, maybe it's falling in love with her, being a housemate from her series, I don't know, but...
That was beautiful, the slow 6. I've got 2 more. Courtney Love or Stevie Nicks?
Courtney Love.
Okay, and I have completely forgotten my other question, but I'm going to remember. Country or hard rock?
Hard rock.
Oh, the check defied that answer.
Yeah, I know, but I never make any sense. You could ask me the 6 again and I'd give you all different answers.
Well, there you go. Quick 6. Hope it hasn't changed your life too much there.
It hasn't.
Now, time to catch up on a little bit of culture in our lives and see what's been going on. We were looking at the Emmys. The Emmys have been and gone recently, and a few weeks ago we talked about Behind the Candelabra, which was a very interesting movie starring Michael Douglas and, was it Matt Damon?
Matt
Damon.
Yes.
With that blonde hair.
Yes.
Yeah, the blonde
Blonde hair and the baby.
The pants.
8 Emmys they got. And Michael Douglas won the award for Best Actor.
Yes, so I mean, it was tipped he would have, had this gone to the cinemas, he would have probably won an Oscar, but because of the rating it got in America and that it became just the TV movie,
That's so
that changed
disgusting.
that. Yes, but he
Relegated
got that.
to the television.
And he thanked Matt Damon, of course, in his
should.
congratulatory speech, saying, with that kind of a role, it was equally half his. He did have a little joke at the end saying, so Matt, top or bottom, because he was going to split the award in half.
Yeah.
But Yeah, I
That's
think.
cute.
Yeah, I saw the movie and he was brilliant in it, so I think it was well deserved.
Absolutely, and you know what? It is a bit strange that this film didn't go to cinema, but I mean, it's a progressive thing. I mean, the fact that this film was made and told so well, and it was such an interesting story that for me, while I was watching it, I even forgot that we were watching a gay story. Like, it wasn't an in your face. And you know, it's interesting. In Hollywood, we either tell Brokeback Mountain where it's been made straight, or we get Priscilla. You know what I mean? Like, so it's like there's these different extremes. And then I felt with this film that we were watching a real story between two people who were real people, and it was told so well. So I mean, instead of us sitting there going, "Why didn't it go to cinema?" You know, let's celebrate the fact that they told an excellent story. And these awards weren't handed to them for the novelty factor of it was a gay movie. They deserved them. And, you know, the next film that gets put on the table, a script like that comes out next time, I bet you it'll get picked up.
Hopefully it becomes a cult hit.
Yeah. Well, speaking of real stories, there was another interesting one that we picked up this week, and it was about a book called Better Nate Than Ever. So it was a kid's book. It was written with a cute little title there. And it's about this kid that is going to audition for a Broadway show. Now, the kid is straight in the book, but there's a homosexual subplot in the book because he's auditioning.
It's got me in.
Yeah. And he obviously meets another kid that is experiencing or exploring his sexuality within that story. And the book was really well received in schools and everything. The author was, you know, being invited to come along, and then some family groups got involved, and they went and read it, and they started saying that in the books that homosexuality is presented as normal and natural in the story.
And it got an extreme caution rating.
Yeah.
Do you know what's so strange though? It's these Christians. And I've, as a gay man, the only Christians I've known are really hot men named Christian. So, like, I just don't have I don't know, like, I think it's so crazy that they get on these things, but, you know, it's becoming smaller and smaller as the bubble gets bigger. We live in this world now where I think that there's less people like this. How many people did it take to take down Rip and Roll? Not very many people. You know, so we're going in a direction where, as I said, that bubble gets bigger, we become more acceptable, and those few people that are left in a minority become smaller.
There are so many Christians who are very supportive as well, but it's sort of forcing these people into the...
I didn't mean to say that. It was more about leading up to that joke of Christian that I was really proud of.
It's just a crazy Christian.
It was a very good
Not
joke.
the hot ones.
Well, I don't know how hot you think Daniel Radcliffe is, but now that Sacha Baron Cohen has pulled out of the Freddie Mercury pick,
Oh, he would have been awesome.
it has been
great.
pretty much... well, he's been considered. I don't know if it's definitely been offered. No, actually... Yes, I think it has been offered to him.
Get your facts
I know,
right,
I thought I'd read it and then I got to Hot Man and Christian just kind of distracted me. But anyway, so
I've got
Daniel...
the wrong plumbing.
We don't believe
I can still
you.
appreciate good looks. But it wouldn't be the first time that Daniel has taken on a more controversial role. He's got the Kill Your Darlings about to come out playing the poet Allen Ginsberg.
And he's been in Equus before, where he simulated having sex with a horse.
Oh, well,
know.
so
Was he
not
nude
just
in
Harry
that?
Potter.
Yeah, that's where he got his nudes out.
Yeah, that's right.
You were just used to seeing him as waving that wand.
Yeah. Oh, I like a wand. Never liked Harry Potter much.
Sorry to
Yeah. We'll leave that one right there. Sorry.
Do you know what? I really like Daniel Radcliffe though. Like, I must admit I wasn't a Harry Potter fan, but there is something very talented
He's
about
trying
him.
very hard to be edgy, and he really does seem to be actually trying with a reason.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he
but
out
Pulls it
there.
off.
We quite often see these people coming out of these big, cult
Franchise
films, the
films,
franchise
yeah.
films, and then they struggle. You know, I wasn't a Harry Potter fan, and I'm watching him as a standalone actor, and I think he's brilliant. I'd watch him play a gay poet. I'd watch him play anything. Like, I think he's taluted. That's
And
what
he's
we
just
judge
not
him
even
on.
afraid to go there. It's not a thing for him.
It's great. Now, speaking of transitioning from one thing to another, you've been transitioning from reality television star into television presenter. You've got 2 TV projects that you're working on at the moment.
Yeah.
Scoopla and Founders. You've got 60 seconds to give us the rundown. Tell us all about it.
Scoopla is like my ultimate passion, stars, gossip and hype. You know, getting to talk about...
You had that nailed.
Yeah, done. Founders is what I'm also very passionate about. I found this woman, Phyllis Founders, who is just this unbelievable character. She's decided through the culture of her upbringing to tell a story which is a panel show, but with all males talking about men's issues. So you think about it, there's so many straight men out there and gay men that don't feel comfortable to talk about these issues. This is the first time, surprisingly, that we're going to tell that story and have people, you know, tell real stories about how they might have interacted with problems in their life. But instead of making it all serious, you know, making it light and just having a chat so that it, you know, is comfortable for people to listen to. which I think is important.
Beautiful. And who else is on the show with you?
Tim Ferguson's doing it, and Tim Brunero, who is a Big Brother alumni.
Yep.
But you know, it's very different types of men, you know, coming with their own stories, and I think it's important that these stories get told. You know.
So if people want to find out about Scoopla or Founders, you got Facebook.
Yes.
Website.
There is. Actually, the best way to join both without having to plug both sites is, you know, follow it on Facebook.
Yep.
Yeah. I think follow me on Facebook, which I'm, you know, heavily plugging those.
Fantastic.
Beautiful. Wonderful. Well, you can go and catch Ben on Facebook at Ben Norris, and catch him on Twitter as well, and he'll tell you all the details there. But that is all we've got time for this week. So thank you very much for joining us, Ben. It's been wonderful.
I've had a great time. I want to be here every week. You've got a unicorn.
Yay! Well, you'll have to come back next time you're in Queensland.
He didn't say much.
In the meantime, make sure you catch up with us on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram as well, which is QTV Brisbane. You can also shoot us an email to qtv@31.com.au. I'm Michael James.
I'm Kate Mackey.
And I'm Matthew Bowe.
Have a great night.
Good night.
Thank you. For joining us.
Had a great time.
Yeah,
All that way, so.